Gary's in South Carolina. Hey, Gary, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Dave. Hopefully you guys are too. I do have a question, but before I ask my question, I actually want to thank you because my wife and I were sitting around having our coffee yesterday morning, and we were thinking about just how blessed we are because we are 100% debt-free, and this is a stressful situation, but when you ain't got no bills, you got a lot less stress, and we learned all this stuff the hard way about 25 years ago, and we took your class, FPU, when you still taught it yourself at Christ Church.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
In the early 90s. So
yeah, with an overhead projector,
It changed us, and it's been a real blessing. But to my question, we do have a small business, several employees, and the business has run completely debt-free for about 13 years now. And we have cash in the bank. The problem is when you're shut down and legally we cannot open, and the governor shut down all non-essential businesses, and they did not say when they would reopen or allow us to reopen. It's indefinite, probably May 1st, could be into May. By then, we could have burned through what cash reserves we have to pay everybody and keep the bills paid. So we're looking at, just want to see what you thought about, like the CIDL or the PPP grants through the government or loans, whatever they're calling them. And because at the burn rate we got, we can probably hang on for 6 or 8 weeks, but it'll be over.
Yeah.
So,
well, number one, I'm not going to tell you to borrow money.
I know that.
Yeah, the SBA loans that are supposedly going to be forgiven are fraught with several problems. One is the number one, they're obviously a loan, and you're dealing with the SBA, which both of those things mean they're not going to happen fast. The banks are getting showered with requests already, but the SBA is just not an organization that has the ability nor the inclination to move fast. The second problem is that this is a loan that has been done during a stimulus package with the promise of it being forgiven. As soon as the political tide shifts one way or the other, that'll be revisited. And there's no chance I would step up on that rug and let a different person coming into the White House or a different tide in the political climate happen. They forget the promises that they made when it was stressful. They just do, because they build other crap into this stuff, and it's just, I'd stay away from it. Now, I don't think you're going to run out of cash. That's my prediction, because I don't think you're going to be shut down deep into May. I do not think that that the economy can survive that. The amount of damage done to 100 million families at that point would be devastating. And so I just don't think that the American public are going to sit in their homes that long, even if there is a medical reason to do so. And I don't think these governors are going to be able to stop them at some point. So the governors are, they're doing the best they can with the information they've got right now. But I am shocked it's gone on as long as it has. But there's obviously some good medical data to get us to the middle of April, and then we'll see from there. But it's a I wouldn't want to have the decision making that they've got to make. I wouldn't want to have that on me. I can't imagine the stress of that. But the risk return ratio on the virus versus the number of families' economic lives being destroyed is gonna, at some point, those lines are gonna cross.
Well, Dave,
you need to just hit the on button there. There you go.
Rookie mistake here. I'm with the pros in the studio. Don't know where the buttons are to turn my mic on. Dave, this is really key. I've been talking to a lot of business owners, and they're saying, I think we're going to take the grant. We're going to figure out how to get the grant. It's
not
a
a
loan.
grant. It's not a grant.
It's a 7A SBA loan. There's a reason they didn't just cut you a check. And so people got to understand this is a debt. There are a lot of conditions to meet for potential reimbursement if that comes, and you're increasing your risk to take it. And so
No.
I think it's foolish to think this is free money, which is how it's being talked about out there.
Let's just pretend that Ramsey Solutions ran out of cash. We would be laying people off before we would take that. It's that simple. And I don't want to. It'd be the worst day of my life. Isn't it? In 30 years, we've never laid off a soul for reasons of economics. And but I'm not borrowing money, even with the promise of it being forgiven. Just like I'm not going to tell you to borrow money on a student loan with the promise it was going to be forgiven. Remember that promise they made? I remember that promise they made, and they didn't keep it. And so I'm just telling you. Now, there's going to be some tax breaks that you can do. You can write off your payroll tax. And I would do that for sure. I'll be doing that. I got a bunch of that I can write off. But the and anything I can do to kick that down the road and keep those actual cash dollars in the building gives you a longer survival rate, a longer burn rate. But that's the situation. So no, don't borrow the money. No, do not step up on the rug. No.